Your employer should determine whether the ground is sufficiently level and firm to support the anticipated weight of hoisting equipment and associated loads. There could be unknown hazards underground, such as retention vaults and voids. If a crane or other equipment is placed on top of this area, there is a risk of collapse. Your employer should assess hazards within the work zone that would affect the safe operation of hoisting equipment, such as overhead power lines and objects, or personnel that would be within the swing radius of the hoisting equipment. Your employer should erect barriers to mark the area covered by the rotating superstructure to warn workers of the danger zone. These could be danger tape warning employees or physical barriers to prevent workers from accessing the danger zone. The barriers should be maintained to ensure they are in the proper position and will prevent employee access. Your employer should ensure that the equipment is in safe operating condition by performing the required inspections and maintenance. Inspections and maintenance play a critical role in preventing safety hazards with equipment. Your employer should comply with all manufacturer procedures regarding proper operational functions of equipment, including its use with attachments. There should be instruction manuals and guides on all equipment for operators to reference when needed. Your employer should ensure safe attachment of rigging devices such as shackles, hooks, eye bolts, spreader beams and slings, wedge socket, and wire rope clips. Proper rigging by a qualified rigger will prevent many falling or swinging struck by hazards. Your employer should ensure that all vehicles and equipment have operable seat belts. Your employer should ensure roadways and grades are maintained to accommodate the safe movement of equipment and vehicles. Your employer should ensure all earth-moving or compacting equipment with obstructed views do not operate in reverse gear unless the equipment has a reverse signal alarm or a safety monitor on the ground. If the equipment doesn't have a reverse signal alarm loud enough to be heard against the surrounding noise level, the employer will designate a worker to signal when it's safe to back up when the operator has an obstructed view to the rear. Your employer is required to conduct a hazard assessment of the job site by site management, who should make a thorough assessment of potential job site safety hazards, plan for work being conducted in proximity of a public road or highway, and for the safe handling of intermittent roadway traffic stoppages, such as a truck entering a roadway, and plan the entry and exit to and from the worksite to reduce exposure to traffic. Your employer is required to post construction areas with legible traffic signs at points of hazards to warn workers and the general public. Your employer is required to erect signs and barricades that conform to the Manual on Uniform Traffic Control Devices for Streets and Highways, MUTCD. The MUTCD provides the requirements for this work and is managed by the U.S. DOT Federal Highway Administration. The MUTCD assists employers by providing them information on what signs, barricades, cones, barrels, etc. are to be used based on the type of roadway or the speed limit. Your employer is required to provide all workers with an orientation on the safety and operational requirements of the job site. Furthermore, they are responsible for training workers in the work zone to recognize hazards associated with the use of the equipment and any related duties that they are assigned to perform.